Hey guys, today we are starting a new unit. We are starting Unit 9, Solving Quadratics. So today we're going to look at some vocab and talk about solutions for quadratics. So let's just start here at the top where the vocab is. It says quadratic equation, an equation that can be written in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So you're going to see there's a new piece. We've seen this quadratic, the standard form here. But the new part is this equal to 0. So what we're going to say here is that that a value in front of our x squared cannot be 0, and we're going to call this our new standard form. So everything we've done before, we never had an equal sign in. But now we're going to throw an equal sign into our mix and see what it changes. Okay? When we have an equal sign, it's going to allow us to get solutions. Okay? For any quadratic equation, we're going to possibly have 2 solutions, 1 solution, or no real numbers that make our function equal to 0. Okay? So we've got a couple different options. So you'll see the graphs underneath that. They talk about, well, they give us a visual of what each of those look like. So if you look at the first one, it says 2 solutions. So how does this relate to having 2 solutions? Well, right above it, you'll see where it says also called roots, zeros, and x-intercepts. So what I'm saying is a solution can also be called a root, a zero, or an x-intercept. And this is the one that's going to help us with these graphs. Because an x-intercept, we know it's where we touch or cross the x-axis. So here's my x-axis, and I see that I touched that 2 times. So that means we have 2 solutions. On the one in the middle, we're going to see that we only touch that x-axis at that one spot. So there's only 1 solution on that one. And for this last one on the far right, this x-axis, I don't touch it at all with my graph that's graphed. So this one has no real solutions. Okay, so now we're going to talk about how can we possibly find those solutions. Okay, so we're going to be using something that we call the zero product property. Okay, and what that says is for any real number, a and b, if a times b equals 0, then that means either a is 0 or b is 0. Okay, that should make sense. If I said a times 0, making the b value a 0, then that equals 0. But if I did it the other way and I put the 0 in place of the a, that's still going to give me 0. So this is just saying that if I said either a or b equal to 0, then the product a times b is going to also give me 0. Okay? That is going to help us in what we're looking at. So it says let's solve for the solutions by hand. We're going to use the zero product property to do this. So over here in the little box on the right, you're going to see some steps. So first it says set it equal to 0. So it must be set equal to 0. If it's not equal to 0, then we can't solve. Okay? Then after that, we're going to factor our other side. And then we can set each one of those factors equal to 0, kind of like we just showed with the a and the b. Okay. So let's look at example 1. I see 0 equals x squared minus x minus 6. So first off, it's already equal to 0. So that's good. So we can move on to the next part, which says we're going to factor this side. And we know how to factor that. We just spent a whole unit factoring this. Okay. It's a trinomial. So that means we're going to bust the b. So our busting the b says I need a times c, which is negative 6, my b value on the bottom, which is negative 1, and we need to find 2 numbers that multiply to give me negative 6 and at the same time add to give me negative 1. Okay? So we think through all the numbers that multiply and give me 6 is 1 and 6 and 2 and 3. Well, 2 and 3 are 1 apart from each other. Now I just have to figure out their sign. So 2 times 3 is a positive 6, so one of those needs to be negative. And in order for them to add to be negative, my bigger number needs to be negative. Okay, so what we have done is we've got 0 equals, and we're going to rewrite the right-hand side. So x squared plus 2x minus 3 minus 6, minus 3x minus 6. And now we're going to do our grouping. So I'm still going to leave this equal to 0. The GCF of the first group is x, leaving me x plus 2. The GCF of the second group is negative 3, leaving me x plus 2. Now I see the GCF here of the x plus 2, so we're going to factor that now to the front. So there's that GCF. And what's left is my x minus 3. So this is all what we did last unit, except for the equal to 0 part. So now that I know it's equal to something, and it's specifically 0, we can take each one of these factors and set them equal to 0 individually. So I'm going to say x plus 2 equals 0 and x minus 3 equals 0. Now we can solve these. This is very simple algebra. So here we're going to subtract 2 on both sides, and x is going to be negative 2. Here we're going to add 3 on both sides, and x is equal to 3. Alright, so let's now look at number 2. We're going to do it again. It's already equal to 0, so that's good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to factor this other side. So here we've got a GCF. The GCF is 2. That's going to leave us with x squared minus 4x minus 21. We're going to bust our b. So we need two numbers that multiply and give me 21, but at the same time add to give me a negative 4. That's going to give us a 3 and a negative 7. So I've got my GCF. This is going to get busted. It's still equal to 0. We're going to factor out the GCF from each of this because we got our 4 terms. So I'm going to leave my 2 out here. So the GCF of the first 2 is x, leaving me x plus 3. The GCF of the next 2 is a negative 7, leaving me x plus 3. Hopefully we see that those GCFs there are the same. So I'm going to come over here, 2, and my first factor is x plus 3. That's the one that was the same. And what's left is this x minus 7. And this is all equal to 0. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each one of these factors and set them equal to 0. Well, does 2 equal 0? No, so that doesn't give me any solution. X plus 3 equals 0. Subtract 3 on both sides, and we get a negative 3. X minus 7 equals 0. Add 7 to both sides, and we get x equals 7. Okay. And now the one over here, number 3. First thing I need to do is make sure it's set equal to 0. Well, here you're going to notice this is not equal to 0. So to get that equal to 0, first we subtract 4 on both sides. So now we have 3x squared plus 9x minus 12 equals 0. Okay. When we start working this, to factor it, we have a GCF of 3. So we get 3 times x squared plus 3x minus 4. Okay. When we bust our b on this one, I'll do it over here for you. Negative 4 and a 3, so multiply to get a negative 4, but add to give us a 3. That is going to be a negative 1 and a positive 4. So 3 times x squared minus 1x plus 4x minus 4 equals 0. When you do grouping, we're going to get 3 times x minus 1 times x plus 4 equals 0. And now we're going to take each one of these factors and set them equal to 0 themselves. This is the 0 product property. Okay, 3 does not equal 0. So x minus 1 equals 0. Add 1 to both sides and we get 1. X plus 4 equals 0. Subtract 4 on both sides and we get x equals negative 4. Okay, so now we're going to take those answers that we have. So let me go highlight them for you. We've got these two answers, and these two answers, and we're going to pick on the three graphs below which one those match up with. So if we're looking at this first one, A, it says that my solutions are here at -4 and a +1. So that would be number 3. This one says we have a solution at -2 and +3, so that would be number 1. And then our last one has a solution at -3 and +7, which is the answers we came up with for number 2. So these graphs correspond with those problems. All right, so let's go on and move on to the next page. Here we have a bunch of practice. Okay, the first two are already factored for you, so go ahead and just set each one of those factors equal to 0. So if you want to pause and take a minute, work them out, I'll work them out as well. All right, here's the answers to 4 and 5. Be careful on number 5 when you have 8x equal to 0 and you divide both sides by 8. Please remember 0 divided by any number is always 0. All right, so go ahead, let's look at number 6 and number 7. Number 6, it is already equal to 0 for us, but we need to factor the left-hand side. So please make sure that you're okay with what we're factoring here. Okay, we need to do a GCF. Number 7, you're going to want to do a GCF before you bust the B. So go ahead and take a moment and solve 6 and 7. Okay, here are the answers to number 6 and 7. You should be getting 2 answers for both of those. Take some time, check and make sure you got number 7 right. You got your GCF and then your grouping. Then you're setting all those factors equal to 0. Okay, and then we got 3 more. 8 is already equal to 0. When you look at number 9, please be careful. It's not equal to 0, so we need to make sure we get it equal to 0 first before we start factoring. Same thing with number 10. So go ahead and pause it, take a moment, do 8, 9, and 10. All right, so here's the answers to 8, 9, and 10. Be very careful on number 8. When you get to this piece and you are setting this factor equal to 0, please make sure you add 1 to both sides first. Then you divide that by 4, giving you the 1/4 as the answer. Okay. All the other ones, 9 and 10, were pretty simple and straightforward. Okay. Don't forget, if you have any questions, be signing up for Radar Time or talking to your teacher during class and asking other questions.